Hi everyone, thanks for coming back for Stretch and Flow. I'm Hannah and today we're going to do a stronger class. So I will give variations, but we're going to try and build up our strength and our ability to sort of push ourselves to the next level today. As always, we're going to start by just tapping into the breath, slowing down the body and the mind because it is the end of the week, it's Friday, and then we're going to start to warm up the body, start to mobilise it a bit more before we go into our stronger flow. So all you will need is a mat. And when you're ready, you can either take a kneeling position. We're not going to be here for very long. We're just going to take 5 deep breaths, or you can come down into a seated position on the mat, wherever you feel comfortable. So just take whichever position you feel most comfortable in, and we're just going to place hands on the tops of the legs, sitting up nice and tall. We're just going to roll the shoulders back and keep them there. Looking forward, you're just going to gently tuck the chin in just to make sure our neck is nice and aligned with our spine. Relaxing around the shoulders and the neck area. And just gently closing off the eyes on your next exhale. It's just settling into the body, settling into your breath. Keeping the breath in through the nose and back out through the nose. And we're going to draw that breath in all the way up to the top before we let it exhale, pushing it all the way through the body. And we're going to take 5 of these breaths. So the point of this breathing exercise before we begin our practice is just so that we become present. We've stopped our day for the day. We're taking some time out on our mat. So we just want to make sure that we're really, really here and not thinking about anything else. You might just want to check in with your body, see how it's feeling. One more breath. And just let your breathing come back to its normal rhythm. I'm just going to gently flicker the eyes open, keeping a soft gaze. And we're just going to move onto our hands on our knees, so onto all fours. So our hands are underneath our shoulders and our knees are underneath our hips. And we're going to start by doing bird dog. So we're just going to warm up glutes, hamstrings, shoulders, good all over really. So we're going to extend the right arm and the left leg at the same time. So inhaling as we reach them out as far as we can. So fingertips forward, bottom of the foot behind. Exhale, start to round the back and bring the knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. Exhale, knee to elbow. So we're going to do 10. Inhale, reach, squeezing that glute at the back. Exhale to the middle. Inhale. So it's a nice, slow, steady movement. Thinking about that stretch, engaging those muscles. We can do 2 more. And 1 more, reaching out. And to the middle. And then we're going to place that hand and that knee back on the floor, transitioning to the other side. So left arm out and right foot back. And exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, meet in the middle. So squeezing that glute at the top and the legs extended, rounding the back when we meet in the middle. So really starting to work the breath into the movements now. We've got 4 more. And last one. Bring it to the middle. And then back onto the mat. So still in the all-four position. Moving into cat-cow, so we're going to drop the chin and we're going to start to push the spine up towards the ceiling, drawing in the belly. Exhale, keep the arms straight but let the chest fall to the floor and the shoulders start to slide down the back. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So trying to think of the spine from the top to the bottom, getting flexion and extension. So when we're arching the back, tucking that tailbone under, squeezing glutes. Exhale, let the chest fall. Two more. Give one more. And exhale. So staying where we are, we're just going to walk the hands forward so they're not under the shoulders anymore, as if we were going to push back into child's pose. But what we're going to do here is we're going to combine the cat-cow movement that we just did with child's pose. So as we push back, we're going to start to arch the back up to the spine up to the ceiling, pushing the bum back towards the heels, and then rocking forward. We're then going to let the hips drop. So it's not a full up dog, it's not a full child's pose. We're just getting those movements with the cat-cow movement. So spine pushing up to the ceiling and then chest dropping as we rock forward. Drawing the belly button in, drop the head. Exhale. We're going to do one more. And exhale forward. Lovely. Coming back onto all fours. We're just going to take our feet as wide as the hands, so just outside the hands actually, into a Hindi squat. So the toes are slightly turned out, so that allows our hips to come down. But we want to focus on keeping a nice flat back. So the best way to do that is take the hands together and pop the elbows inside the knees, because then we can use your legs as a bit of resistance, to lift the chest up. If this is a really strong pose for you, come into a sumo squat and just think about rolling the shoulders back, keeping a nice straight spine. We're not going to be here for too long, but we do just want to wake up the hips, get them moving. So you can do a little wiggle side to side if that feels good. It's really important that your feet stay flat on the floor. Now we're going to take the hands onto the floor, bending the elbows. We're going to drop the head and start to lift the hips. So we're going to come up into a forward fold and then start to bend the knees back into squat, elbows come down, and then we lift the head back to that position. Hands down, drop the head, start to straighten the legs, hips go up, and then coming back down. See if you can sink a little bit deeper. Lovely, we've got 3 more. So dropping the head. Still working that breath with the movement, so nice and slow. Becoming aware of what's feeling good in your body, what might be feeling a little bit tighter. And last one. Back down to squat. And chest up. Lovely. Just gently coming out of the squat, giving the legs a little shake. So we're going to come up to standing. Feet are going to be just outside the hips, and we're going to take the arms out. So palms are facing down, and we're going to turn the left one up. What we're going to do is we're going to hinge at the hips, look towards the palm that's facing upwards, and then move towards that hand. But as we move, our back arm is then going to rotate under, so that palm is also facing the ceiling. And other side. So full rotation in the arms. Hinging at the hips. We're not folding forward. We're just leaning to the side. Rotate shoulders and that upper arm. Imagine someone's pulling your fingertips away from you. You're reaching as far out as you can. I'm going to do one more on each side. And last one. Coming back to neutral, drop the arms, give them a shake. And we're going to slowly make our way back onto the mat into a high plank position. So in the high plank position, our fingers are spread nice and wide and our shoulders are stacked over our elbows and wrists. If this gets quite strong at any point, feel free to just drop the knees. But for now, we're just going to circle, keeping the hands flat on the floor, one way, and then the other way. So if this is feeling strong, drop to the knees. You can still get that movement. Circle once each way. Warming up wrists, shoulders. Lovely. And one more. If you're not already, drop to the knees. And we're just going to bring the hands together and do some wrist circles, just waking up the joints now. We don't want to put lots of pressure on our wrists without warming them up first. It's just circling, changing direction, seeing if you can make a figure of 8 movement with the wrists as well. Lovely. We're going to move into our first flow. And what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this on each side. And then we're going to repeat again, but we're going to add the options to advance the movement. So for a more stronger movement. See if you want to test your strength today. Okay, so we are going to gently move into a downward dog position. So coming back onto the hands, spreading the fingers nice and wide. We're going to tuck the toes under and push our chest back towards our thighs. So we're just going to walk through the feet here. Let the head hang nice and heavy. We're going to take 5 deep breaths. Settle in this position, get comfortable here. Wake up those hamstrings, walking through the feet. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the left leg up into a 3-legged dog. Exhale, swing that leg forward so we come into high plank, but the knee is going to come to the outside of the left elbow. Inhale, send it back to 3-legged dog. Exhale, swing it forward in between the hands, this time keeping the leg off the ground. Inhale, lift, 3-legged dog. And then exhale over to the outside of the right arm. Inhale, 3-legged dog. And then we're going to bend that knee, open up the hip. You can choose to stay here, or you can keep bringing that leg over, dropping it on the floor and coming into wild thing. So lifting those hips up, bending that bottom leg so we can come back into 3-legged dog. Exhale, swing the leg forward and plant it on the floor this time. So we're coming to a low lunge position, so our back knee is now on the floor. Inhale, lift the arms up above the head, bring them together, and then bring them back down to your chest. So relaxing neck and shoulders. Nice tall spine. Option here is to also have the hands so that your fists are together. So what we're going to do is we're then going to turn into a twist. So our right arm wants to come into the outside of our left leg. So by having the fists together, it's quite nice to be able to push hands against each other. So you get that twisting motion. Or we can come into the prayer position. Slow that breath. Good, keeping the hands together, lifting the arm off the leg, coming back to the front. Hands then come back onto the mat, framing that front foot, and we're going to push back into downward dog. Exhale here. We're going to take a vinyasa. So inhale, rolling through the spine, coming into high plank. Exhale, drop to the knees and start to lower the chest down into press. Inhale, pushing the hands into the mat, lifting the chest into cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes under, coming back into downward dog. So 5 breaths here again. You can walk through the feet, let the head hang. Two more breaths. And then we're going to repeat on the other side. So in your next inhale, lifting the right leg up into three-legged dog. Exhale, rocking forward into plank, taking the leg to the outside of the right arm. Inhale, back to three-legged dog. Exhale, bringing it in between the arms. Brace that belly. Inhale, back to three-legged dog. Exhale, take the knee to the outside of the right arm. Inhale, lift. Bend that knee, open the hip. Option to stay here, or let that leg come all the way over, lifting the hips up into wild thing. Bending that bottom knee, so you can twist back into three-legged dog. And then, oh, I forgot our lunge. So three-legged dog, swinging that leg forward on the exhale, planting the foot in between the hands, dropping that back knee, coming into low lunge. Inhale, lift the arms up above the head. Exhale, bring them down to your chest. It's just settling here, relaxing shoulders. Remember, you can squeeze fists together if you prefer that, if it helps you balance a little bit more. And then we're going to take the outside of the left arm onto the outside of the right leg. So squeezing hands together, squeezing fists together, getting a nice twist in the torso there. Keeping that balance. Bringing the hands back to the front and then taking them onto the mat, framing that front foot, tucking that back leg up, step it back to downward dog. Inhale, roll through that spine. Exhale, either drop to the knees or lower down to your mat. Inhale, pushing the hands into the mat, lifting the chest into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, push back into downward dog. We're just going to take a little rest in child's pose here. So just gently come down to the knees, untuck the toes. You can add a little bend into the arms if that feels good. And just relax your head on the mat. You might want to give your fingers a little wiggle. Just resting our body before we move back into our flow. Slowly lifting the head. I'm just going to walk the hands back onto the shoulders. And when you're ready, just slowly, we're going to move back into downward dog. So I will give you variations this time. If you do decide to make it stronger, take your time with the movements. I'm going to tuck the toes under, push back to down dog. Let's go back to our abdominal little power flow going on here. So we're going to start with the left leg. Inhale, lift it up to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing forward, brace the belly. Bring that leg to the outside of the left arm. Exhale, send it back. Sorry, inhale, send it back. Exhale, bring it forward in between the arms. Brace belly. Sending it back to three-legged dog on the inhale. Exhale, bring it to the outside of the right arm. Inhale, lift, three-legged dog. Bend that top knee, either staying here or dropping it round into wild thing. So lifting up hips, nice and strong. Bend that right leg so we can twist back round into our three-legged dog. Exhale, swing that leg forward this time. So you can drop the knee into a low lunge. If you want a bit more of a challenge, keep it up in a high lunge. We're going to lift the arms above the head, bringing them together, and then down towards our chest. Again, relaxing around shoulders. Now we're going to take our twist. If you're worried about your balance, drop that back knee, come into your twist, and you can choose to stay here, or we can then lift that back knee. So remember, you can do fists. That helps you turn a little bit more, do what feels right. One more breath. Gently bring the hands back round. Hands back onto the mat. We're going to step back into three-legged dog. So before we vinyasa, you can come back down to downward dog before we roll over into plank, or we can stay in three-legged dog, bend the knee, and come down into scorpion. Just think about keeping that leg nice and high. Exhale down into press. Let the leg follow at the bottom. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back to downward dog. Walk it through the feet. One more go on the other side. You're doing great, guys. This is a strong flow today. Inhale, lift that right leg into three-legged dog. Exhale, swing it forward, the outside of the right arm. Inhale, back. Exhale to the middle. Inhale, back. Exhale to the left. Inhale, back. Exhale, bend that knee, bringing it over into wild thing. We're staying in three-legged dog. Hips up. Bend that bottom leg, transitioning back to three-legged dog. Exhale, swing the leg forward, planting it on the floor this time. And either dropping the knee or staying in high lunge. Inhale, lift the arms. Really reaching up and bringing them down to the chest. Let's find a moment to balance. So either dropping the knee for balance, or we're just going to take a twist. Might want to test yourself in high lunge. Coming round onto the right leg. Gently coming back to the front. Place hands back on the mat. And take a step back into three-legged dog. If you're going for scorpion, bend that leg. If you're going for downward dog, that's fine. We're going to inhale, roll. So we're in high plank. Exhale, lower. Nice and controlled. Inhale, lift. Exhale, push back. And then we're going to drop to the knees. Coming down into child's pose. You may want to take your arms this time down either side of the body. Just let your shoulders roll forward. Whatever's feeling good for you. Just recovering, nice deep breaths. we're just going to gently move the arms back up above the head. So we're just going to take some side stretches. So let the head relax on the mat and walk your arms over to the left-hand side of the mat. So opening up the right-hand side of the body there. So nice deep breaths there, expanding that rib cage, stretching out those muscles. And then walking the hands over to the right-hand side. So try and let the bum push down towards the heels of the feet. So opening up the left-hand side of the body now. And then just coming back to the middle. A couple more breaths in child's pose. Just really letting the body settle now. Gently coming back up onto our hands and our knees. And we're going to slowly move into pigeon, just to open up the hips just before we go into our relaxation. Let's move into a high plank and take the right foot towards the left hand. So we're going to walk that back leg out, opening up hips, making sure hips are nice and square before we fold forward. So we're actually stretching out the outside of the right hip, that glute area. I just want you to breathe your way through this one. We're not going to be here for long. One more breath here. Gently lifting the head, walking the hands back towards the body. We're going to tuck those back toes under so we can lift up that leg and just change over. So our left foot's going to go towards our right hand. So walking back that back leg. Squaring off the hips just before we forward fold onto our forearms. Just breathing deeply here, nice and steady. One more breath here. And just gently lifting the head, walking the hands back towards the body, tucking under those back toes. Just give the legs a little wiggle. And we're just going to step it back to a squat so we can gently come down onto the mat. Moving into the nice relaxing part here. So we're just going to gently come down onto our backs and let the knees fall towards the chest just so we can give them a little hug and just start to settle into the mat. Gently rocking side to side. Just taking the arms out to the side of the body, keeping a gap between your arms and your body, and then either taking your feet onto the mat, you can let your knees fall out to the side, or you can have your legs straight, wherever you feel comfy. Just settling into the floor. Now in shoulders, to relax. Fully either side of the spine. Soft fingers and toes. And just feeling the chest rise and fall with your breath. So taking that breath all the way down to the belly, just letting that soften on the exhale. Drawing your breath in through the nose, all the way up to the top, filling the lungs and the stomach with air. We're going to pause at the top, and then push that breath out, back through the nose, sending it all the way down through the body, just feeling it relax. Keeping that rhythm with the breath, pausing at the top. And just letting the body soften. Just relaxing the muscles in your face. Softening the eyelids. Giving the jaw a little wiggle side to side. Just taking a moment to slow down at the end of your week. Please stay where you are, guys, for as long as you'd like to. I am going to leave you here. But take your time in waking up. Keep that breathing going with the pause at the top. And I will see you on Tuesday morning at 6:15 in the morning for another stretch and flow. Have a lovely weekend.